Hey everyone, um, welcome to yet another live version of A Paratrooper and a Yogi Walk Into the Bar. And Shana, how are you doing?
I'm doing Tel Aviv. Shana does Tel Aviv. I just missed you. That's always a hard question to answer these days. It's been really rough here this week with the videos and everything. I want to talk about that, but before we do, welcome to the podcast. I'm here with the commando of content creation, Andrew Fox,
No,
and
that's a huge
that.
insult. No, I was a paratrooper. That's the opposite of a commando.
Oh,
It's
you're
like a
not a
commando,
commando?
but no, it's
I
like a
was referring.
million times. It's like a million times better than a commando.
Oh, I was referring to the fact that you don't wear underwear.
Oh, that is true. Actually, there's a reason this camera only goes down to the waist. Just saying. Um,
Okay, the not commando of content creation. I was just looking
Correct.
for Andrew Fox, and that's Mr. Andrew Fox on Substack and X.
And my weekly partner in crime, usually from Los Angeles, bending herself into a pretzel as a yoga master, but this week in Tel Aviv, changing places with me from last week is Shana Meyerson from the Yoga of War podcast, which you can find on YouTube and all those other places that you stream your content. So, what are we talking about today, Shana?
Where do we begin? So I think that being in LA is hard enough because you feel so like detached and helpless when you're this connected to Israel. But I have to say that being in Tel Aviv this weekend, with the videos that came out of Eviatar David and Ram Brashlovsky, um, it's been excruciating. That day pretty much really knocked the whole city out. Everyone we're talking to today is like that day, just the world stopped. And I think it did for a lot of people, including of a lot of the people we wouldn't expect. Did you see that today, for like the first time, the Red Cross and the WHO said that Hamas must release the terrorists?
Where's the hostages?
I mean, oh my God. Okay,
Hey,
I am out of my.
you gotta take your laughs where you can. You gotta take your laughs where you can. But I know what you're talking about because when I was in Israel when the Eden Yerushalmi and those other five hostages, their videos came out. That was just you could see it hit people like a blow, like a physical blow, which is of course why Hamas do it. It's designed to try and shatter Israeli support for the war. It's masterful psychological manipulation, and they have perfected this vicious, cruel art. They're absolute masters at it. Absolute bastards. But yeah.
As much as you're right, there's also this cynical aspect of, we as observers keep saying this is, psychological terror, but somebody is actually living in that tunnel in Holocaust conditions and digging his own grave. And so sometimes I think that our society has become overly narcissistic, that it's not so psychological terror, but we all make it like, oh, think about what it's doing to us. But when you flip that and think about Eviatar, both of them, and Ram, I think that Eviatar sort of took over because of the fact that the visuals were so much more overwhelming to look at. Anyway, these videos come out like it in the wake of the morally bankrupt leadership of the West declaring they're going to recognize a Palestinian state, which was originally what we were going to talk about, and what we're sort of going to talk about today anyway, sort of. But if anyone underestimates this moment of insanity that we are living through, consider this, particularly you, Andrew. Donald Trump is the sane one in the room. Okay, let's leave it at that. He is. He's the one right now, the only one standing up for the hostages and for sanity. So today, Andrew and I bring you, I have to read this, the Memorandum of Understanding on Strategic Cooperation between the Government of the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and in Northern Ireland and the Palestinian government. unicorn. Hashtag, if you can see the setup here, my hands are not very free, but hashtag funny, not funny. Yes, this is actually a real document found on the gov.uk website and signed on April 28th of this year.
And what this does is it blows open Starmer's disingenuous nonsense about, oh, we won't do it in September if Israel ceases fire, because they've already agreed with the Palestinian government that they're going to do this. There is it's a binding memorandum of understanding between the British government and the Palestinian government, whatever that means, and they've essentially the plan is to strengthen their international cooperation over the coming years. And there's a vision. It starts with a vision, and it defines our bilateral cooperation, serve as a living document. Through regular high-level engagement, the bilateral relationship will continue to evolve into a more modern, innovative, and forward-looking strategic partnership. And they're going to use this partnership in all spheres and to jointly counter global challenges and threats. What a partner to choose. What a partner to choose in this chaotic, unstable, new, modern, post-liberal era world. We've decided that the partner in all spheres is going to be the Palestinian government, who do pay for slay in the West Bank and who murder Jews in tunnels in Gaza.
Speaking of tunnels, though,
British government.
But here's the thing about tunnels, because I keep going bilateral, because this is the word that keeps coming up. Like, this is going to go two ways. The UK is going to benefit as much as the PA from this. So what's bilateral? But here's the thing. I hear the Palestinians can actually help engineer a better London Underground.
The London Underground's really good. It's a bit dirty, but it's a pretty decent underground. Actually, I think that's typical American exceptionalism on your part.
Yeah.
But look, it starts with international cooperation. So we commit with Palestine to coordinating, exchanging views. Great. They'll be able to tell us how much they hate Jews, and the Labour Party will be able to agree. So they've got a bilateral agreement right away, straightforward there. Working closely within a framework within the international multilateral system. Upholding international law, apparently. So cross-border slaughters of Jews not included in that, clearly, but good to see that our international law is in there.
But Andrew, really quickly, I want to remind people this was signed in April. Okay, so this is we've already been in it for what, May? Please don't make me speak English. May, June, July. So it's been over 3 months. So let's talk about we don't have to talk about the international law that the UK and the PA are going to be upholding together.
Yeah, and Three Pairs is saying, how do the thousands of UK-Iraq war veterans feel about this? Well, as an Afghan war veteran, I can tell you, it sickens me to my stomach that we're making deals with the people who pay their people to kill Jews. Pay for slay is a stated policy of the Palestinian Authority, where if one of their people kills an Israeli and the fighter goes to jail for it, they will then compensate them and pay essentially a pension to them and their families. And these are the people that Keir Starmer thinks make perfect partners while sanctioning Israeli government members. So that's reassuring that we have such a great moral compass at the top of the United Kingdom.
As we go through this document, it really does become more and more ludicrous. But let me point out, stacking on this, I like the term that this is a quote unquote living document, because if we want to talk about the fundamental difference between Western values and Palestinian values, it's that Palestinians, in their own words, value death, while we value life. On that alone, I say this document is dead on arrival.
Yeah, clearly. Well, unfortunately, it explains a lot about why the UK has been burning every shred of possible consent with the Israeli government. It shows that when Starmer says he's going to wait for September to the UN to see if Israel behave themselves and do what he demands, it's a lie, because they've already decided that they have that they're going to take this forward and make a difference. And it shows that there is nothing between Starmer's Labour Party and the anti-Semitic Labour Party of Jeremy Corbyn. It's just a new face on the same old anti-Semitic, Jew-hating Labour Party. Absolutely disgusting. And I'm probably going to get more and more annoyed as we go through this document. But do you want to start on paragraph 3, Shana? Talk about partnership.
I sort of do, but I've got to address this last sentence that they are going to jointly counter global challenges and threats. And all I could think of coming from LA, like the way that we stop fires is from burning fires in the other direction. The only thing I see when I hear this is, are we going to sic terrorists on the terrorists so the fire burns out the fire? What are these global challenges? Do you know that even the terrorist-loving UN, every single terrorist organization that they have designated is Islamic in nature?
I
So
didn't know that.
I'm just like, what? I mean, some of the global challenges and threats we're going to get into. Terrorism isn't one of them, apparently, but some of them are pretty funny. Okay, let's see what's next.
Oh, here's a good one. I've got a good line for you. The two-state solution remains the best way to achieve Palestinian statehood and guarantee that Palestinians and Israelis apparently can live in peace and security with mutual recognition. Good. That's fascinating to learn that's the way forward. But they underline the importance of maintaining commitment to the PLO principles.
That's right. Okay, international cooperation. Item 1. The participants commit, I can't read, to coordinating, exchanging views, boy, do I want to be a fly on that wall, and working closely within the framework of their obligations and commitment to the international multilateral system, international law, and international organizations. I guess UN, that's easy because UN is already terrorist-run and anti-Israel. That's low-hanging fruit. The participants reaffirmed their commitment to upholding, as he said, upholding the rules-based international system and multilateralism, including through the UN and other international fora, and advancing peace, security, stability in the Middle East and beyond. Did you know that the PA is the secret not just to peace with Israel, but peace in the world? The participants underscore the importance of implementing, again, low-hanging fruit, all United Nations Security Council resolutions pertaining to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Well, all of those are anti-Israel, all of them, including granting Jerusalem, including the Western Wall, to the PA. So that's a really good one.
Yeah, so someone's put a great comment on below. It was Christopher Messina was saying one of his law professors at the University of Chicago said there's no such thing as international law. There are norms and agreements, but law is confined to one entity. And here we see the real problem, because for Starmer, he's got a guy called Hermer, who is the sort of chief legal counsel for the government. And essentially for them, international law is the absolute kind of most important law on the planet. And we've seen this with the Chagos Islands, where Diego Garcia military bases. The UK are paying Mauritius to take that off our hands. We're paying a Chinese ally to take one of our most key strategic assets off us because international law says that maybe we ought to. There was an advisory opinion about this. So these guys prioritize international law above even the national interest of the United Kingdom. And really, I think that's what that paragraph is about. It's just a reiteration of Labour's obsessiveness with international law. And this is the downside of being run by international human rights lawyers, because that's what half the government are. So just a bit of context in a British context there.
Yeah, but to go back to the context of international law is not law. Law is not subjective. Law is supposed to be applied equally to all parties. Unlike the ICJ and the ICC, literally in words, not even subversively, are like, let's change these definitions so that they apply to Israel. How is that law? It's not.
Yeah.
But one other thing I want to say, Andrew, and this comes up a few times, that they say that they're going to reaffirm, I like that word, reaffirm their commitment to international law. Because reaffirm. So this is the society that launched 2 intifadas, has the pay to play for anyone who kills a Jew or their family, and of course, fully support the atrocities of 10/7 by huge margins, both in the PA and in Gaza. And they're going to reaffirm their commitment to international law. Andrew, maybe you know something I don't know. When did they ever adhere to international law?
Yeah, it's empty words, and it's just this bizarre infection that's taken hold of our government. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But looking down, I think the killer thing here for me is paragraph 2, the two-state solution. The participants underline their resolute commitment to the two-state solution based on 1967 lines.
How convenient.
Where do you start with this?
Well, let's read the whole paragraph. I think it's best because it just gets richer.
Yeah, go for it.
Otherwise, we're going to be here for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. So the participants emphasized the importance of recognition as a contribution to the two-state solution. So they're saying that without recognizing Palestine, there's no two-state solution. Therefore, it's going to happen, whatever Starmer says. So he's a liar straight off the back. Straight up liar here. Running the United Kingdom, great stuff. Viable and sovereign state of Palestine alongside the state of Israel, living side by side in peace, safety, and security. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. It's weird because all the Israelis I've spoken to have wanted that for a really long time. So why isn't there peace? That's really odd. Really odd.
Yeah. As soon as I recognize the state of Israel, have we even gotten to that sentence yet? I'm just like, eh. Okay, so you lost me at recognition. We don't have two states because the Palestinians have been offered viable states 5 or 6 times, depending on how you count it, since sorry, I have a cat here who's not supposed to be in the room, and I'm like totally out of control. But they rejected them outright. And just like anyone who really, really wants a state would do, they decided that no matter what, they will not have a Jewish state next to them. So let's not get started on Gaza either. So we didn't even get to okay. Do you want to read the rest of the paragraph?
No, you go for it because I'm trying to drop this into the comments.
Okay, so
you go for it.
It also says in this context, the U.S. affirms the inalienable right of the Palestinian people of self-determination, including to an independent state. And then, as you said, the two-state solution remains the very best way to achieve Palestinian statehood and to guarantee that Palestinians and Israel can live in peace and security with mutual recognition. But by the way, they signed this in April. The participants underlined the importance of maintaining commitment to the PLO principles. Okay, so when it comes to inalienable rights, if you're the party who alienates the rights in the first place, what is inalienable? And also, the peace loving, I want to play hippie music in our background, like Imagine or something. But why don't we ask Syria how that worked when al-Jilani took over? What are they expecting?
Yeah, this document goes on for what, 5 pages, and it's just full of waffle like this. It's the deletion of Hamas from the conversation. Hamas were the government of Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're the Sinn Féin where you can actually talk to them and have a rational conversation and eventually reach a deeply flawed peace process, which Northern Ireland, wasn't great, but at least it was something. This isn't like there's a political wing and there's an armed wing as well. Like this one psychotic terror organization that wants to destroy the state of Israel. And yeah, I'm guessing they think this is progress, that they're getting the Palestinian Authority to agree that the two-state solution is the way forward. But there's no articulation of what the other state looks like. There's no articulation of how they're going to disarm. There's no articulation of how they're going to make sure that Jews going into certain areas of the West Bank don't get slaughtered. It's just fantasy bullshit. It's the only way to describe it.
But when you say there's no articulation on how they're going to demilitarize, there's no mention that they're going to demilitarize. I read it like 5 times, and I'm like, certainly I missed something in here. The word is never in there that they have to be demilitarized. And by the way, because they think that we could just like take Western values and just like plop them in to the PA, and all of a sudden we're going to have this Western peace-loving democracy in the Middle East. Like, if we want to talk actual democracy, if, first of all, the people of Gaza voted Hamas in as their leaders.
Oh, and
That's
Hamas are polling at 70% in the West Bank right now as well.
That's right. So what's going to happen when America comes in, or America, sorry, I'm not thinking straight. I've been sleeping like 2 hours. When Britain in company come in and say, the PA are your rulers now, this is our new democracy. Listen, Andrew, they're going to kill themselves in a civil war if that happens. Israel will be able to just totally retreat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is so naive. You can see that they've been played like a fiddle by whoever on the Palestinian side went to London to to write this. They've literally just been strummed like a guitar and gone, oh yeah, you guys are great, and written it down. It's just fucking nonsense.
Wait, you don't think David Lammy is the one playing the fiddle?
I know he's been played for a fool. That's this is the Palestinians going, oh, this is really what we want. Oh, this is we just want to live side by side. It's like bullshit. You know the river to the sea is your thing. You know eradication of Israel is what you want. Like, stop pretending that this is that you can live happily with Israel on the current borders, and they're like, oh, 1967 borders, like, whatever, you know what you want. It's just so thick. Look, chapter paragraph 4, security cooperation. The participants commit to building on the existing security cooperation relationship to further enhance the capacity, capability, transparency, and accountability of the Palestinian security forces. What?
Honestly, like, this is the only paragraph that, instead of making me laugh, actually has been worrying me all along, is that up until this point, the international community has been arming Israel and providing Israeli defense. And I mean, granted, the Palestinians can do what they want with the billions of dollars that they receive, but they use it for terror infrastructure. What worries me the most is that the West is going to actually start arming the Palestinians and giving them the defense system so that there's no more qualitative military edge, and that Israel will no longer have an upper hand. And as we know, this sounds very self-serving, but the fact is, Israel does not start wars. And if you embolden and empower the Palestinians with their state in 1967 lines, including that they'll now own the Western Wall according to the Brits, like, that's really, really dangerous and scary stuff. It doesn't delineate, but it doesn't turn away from it either.
No, and I think this is where fantasy and reality are going to collide hard. Like, if this goes through, what this is a recipe for is a massive war between Israel and the West Bank areas. Like, that's what this reads like to me. I mean, it's living in such a fantasy state that if this came to fruition, this guarantees a war. I don't see any way around it.
So, but here's the thing, Andrew. Like,
I agree,
so
Napsy. It's not going to happen.
well, it's not going to happen because Israel's not going to let it happen. There can't be two states unless Israel accepts that there's going to be two states. And also, as long as Trump is in office, we're going to have the veto. As long as Trump is in office, we're going to have the veto at the United Nations. But assuming that's even true, next Democratic administration, I can't even imagine what's around the corner. But this talk, like, I think of things a little bit differently. You think that the UK has been played. I think that they have as they refer to in here, shared priorities, and that they both have the priority of destroying the Jewish state. Listen, the Brits have not. No? Okay,
Nah.
you're British. Tell me, because they have not, like, they've never had, I think they've had one official visit, like, in the 90s or something. to Israel. They do not love Israel. It was obviously under British mandate. They lost it. They don't like things they lost. Okay, tell me. I mean, if they don't want to destroy Israel, why would you get into such a suicidal?
No, this is naivety. It's naivety, is what it is. It's certainly a colonial arrogance where they think they can draw lines on a map. But this has never happened with any other British government before. That's just this bunch. Even when we had Blair and the coalition in the 2000s, that nobody else has been this stupid as to go this far. That we are run by human rights lawyers, and you know what human rights lawyers prioritize? That is the international system above all else. And they genuinely are naive and stupid enough to think about, it's almost like the white savior complex. They think they can, these noble Arab savages, there are people, we can talk to them, it's this stupid Foreign Office arrogance combined with the naivety of people who frankly don't have a deep understanding of this situation, and think that human rights law is the answer to all the world's ills. That's what it is. It's naivety.
But again, the human rights infrastructure is so it's just made up as it goes along. It's not even real. They're making up laws. Like they're like, oh, genocide doesn't apply. Let's change the definition of genocide. I don't see this as a commitment to international law. I see it as a commitment to change international law to bury Israel. But I sort of wanted to read straight through because I read one more quote that I like?
Yeah.
That in that same paragraph, that the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza, must be reunified.
Yeah, when
Okay,
were they
so,
unified, out of interest?
but again, that's what I'm saying. Like the UK signed this. Do they believe that there was ever a Palestinian state? Because
Yes,
they
they're
don't
idiots.
want.
I keep trying to tell you, these people are morons. They don't know anything about the history of the region. That's what I'm saying. They've been played like a fiddle by the Palestinians. The Palestinians have just written this, and the UK have gone, yeah, looks good, signed it. Like they're genuinely that stupid.
Okay.
Marvelous. I mean, look, if we really want stupidity, can we go forward, please, to paragraph
Yeah.
6 and 7, 6, 7, and 8, because they're amazing.
Okay.
Can we go with 7, where they've decided that one of the most important solutions for the two-state solution is climate change? Really,
Well,
really
guess
important.
what? Wait. It's not as, why it's not as funny as it seems? Because
Go on.
they already have the best advocate in the world,
Go on.
Greta Thunberg.
They've already got Greta, of course, but also they're the ones who went setting fires to forests in Israel.
Yeah. And setting fires to tires and destroying everything in their wake, of course. But I mean, listen, Greta will be very happy to go in and consult with them on saving the world through climate change. But I think that in the next item are the ones that are like the most delusional. Like again, like there's so many people who are saying this. Like people cannot wrap their heads around the fact that Western values are not radical Islamic values. The things that we think are normal and that every person would care about, such as living, is not a priority for them. It's not a value to them. And so this is all thinking, hey, they're just like us. You know, they left
Yeah,
their children just like us. That's why they throw them into suicide vests and put them in front of bombs, because they know that will be like the best future for them in heaven with virgins.
yeah.
That's me.
Do you want to read paragraph 8? Go on, you can read paragraph 8. It's the best.
I actually would vote for climate change as the best, because at least there's zero climate advocacy there, but they're going to be the heroes of the environment. But number 8, the participants commit to action to uphold the rights of women and minority groups and prevent the targeting of individuals in these categories. By minority groups, I have to imagine they must mean the LGBTQ community, who get thrown off of buildings and hung on cranes.
Oh,
But
I just thought they meant Jews who get killed.
oh, you think so?
No, but it's ridiculous. This
That's
is
not a
Queers for
gender.
Palestine nonsense, isn't it? I know it's gender. You're
You're
right. So when
talking
they
a
said
gender.
minority groups, no, you're right. Minority groups. They're talking about Queers for Palestine, aren't they? Amazing.
Yeah, and like women are possessions, but suddenly now they're going to be like equal. Oh, you know what's awesome? That like now women will be able to go shirtless and like paint on their stomach "Free Palestine" with like their dreadlocks and like the nose piercings and the earrings, and now they're gonna have rights,
Yeah,
which is
it's amazing.
amazing.
Do you know what? I was in Gaza last week, as you know. I was at the aid distribution sites. And I watched a flood of young men come in and pick over the humanitarian aid, as you know, and good. I'm glad the young men are getting fed. That's no bad thing. But the only way they could guarantee that the women and children got any food at all was by driving the men out of the compound using flashbangs and smoke grenades, and then giving them food in a cloistered environment where they could get their food without it being immediately taken off them. So you know the idea that now the Palestinian Authority is committing to upholding the rights of women is just astonishing. And yet, you know, they've obviously put that in there because they're playing the the British government. You know, they're saying all the stuff they want them to hear. Oh yeah, we really care about climate change. Oh yeah, gender very, very important. Oh, education hugely important. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the education paragraph,
Well,
working together
I
in the
like,
field of
but
education to improve education for Palestinian children, promote global citizenship. What is global citizenship when it's a home? And rebuild international trust and understanding. It's like they have had 60 years of education telling them to murder Jews. And now the British government's going to sweep in with this new document and bring in the 11 plus exam. This is so stupid. It blows my mind, honestly.
this, if they can deprogram Gaza and the Judea Samaria, I will personally nominate them for the Nobel Prize. But the interesting thing is, like, there's no sort of like, I mean, there is one timeline on here, which is that you have to give 3 months notice to terminate it. But that's the only timeline. So like, but what's the thought? Like literally, like this is like a Lego set, and we just put Britain on top of quote unquote Palestine, and now we have peace not just in the Middle East but in the world. Like honestly, like what is I don't even understand what I'm reading here. Like what is upholdable about this?
Yeah, it's madness. I mean, it's only a memorandum of understanding. It doesn't have legal enforceability, but it's essentially an indication of the direction of travel they think they're able to take the Middle East. And I think we've probably read enough of it now because there's one thing I want to cover before we go offline. But I think
Okay,
you got one more point
wait,
to make, have you?
can I? Yeah, I have one more point.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
It's just about that very short sentence about cultural exchange. And the only reason I'm bringing this in is like, what we're going to like export the suicidal death cult to Britain. Like things are looking really rosy. I think that if this were more unilateral instead of bilateral, I would say we're going to take steps to make these changes, you know, to institute a new reality. But this whole document is written as if the PA already uphold all these values and
Yeah.
all they needed was a piece of paper to get into this. And like, I mean, I have to be, okay, we could stop with this, but I just want to say that like unless they have like an amendment somewhere where like all parties involved, I can't find it, get a pet unicorn who shits rainbows, like this document is not worth the whatever 50 minutes of breath that we just spent on this.
Yeah, it's madness, and it's just a great example of the fact that the UK is run by naive globalist kind of human rights lawyers who think that who fail to understand almost any aspect of the Middle Eastern conflict, who completely sideline Israel. Who this isn't far off a declaration of active hostile status towards Israel. Like this is essentially saying that Israel is the sticking point in the problem here. It's not Palestine at all. It's these awful Israelis that are the problem. Really worrying. Just no moral compass whatsoever, no common sense, no understanding. Like the United Kingdom is currently run by fucking idiots, to be quite blunt.
But
Like
how do you really
it's
feel about
disgusting.
this?
It's disgusting. It sickens me. My current government sickens me. They're an embarrassment to the world, frankly.
But okay, I want you to go on. But how do we get past this mutual recognition thing?
Wow, we can't. We can't. We've got nothing we can do in the UK now for 4 years, and then hopefully we'll have the good sense to vote these useless pricks out of office. But honestly, my depths of contempt and anger at this nonsense in my name is just sickening. Anyway, that's a genuine moment of anger from me there. But I really want to get onto this just before we finish. I don't know if you saw last night, reported on Channel 14 in Israel, were Hamas's latest demands for the hostage negotiations. Number one, the UN must guarantee the end of the war and Hamas stay in Gaza. Number two, Israel must release all Palestinian prisoners, regardless of offence severity, and including participants in the 7th of October attack. Three, the last Israeli hostage released only after Gaza is completely reconstructed. And four, the borders that existed between Gaza, Israel, and Egypt on October the 7th must be restored. And five, Hamas will not disarm. And I think that really shows how emboldened Hamas are. This is the most bold set of demands that they've made since 7th of October. And things like this Palestinian document we've just read, things like the recognition of the state of Palestine by Canada, France, UK, etc., etc. This is the demand list of a group that thinks it's won, or at least that thinks it's winning.
Yeah.
And that's the situation, this moral vacuum in the West, this utterly subverted by propaganda vacuum of common sense and knowledge about this situation has led us to, is that is the demands list of a group that thinks it's won. And we should be really concerned by that, because it leaves Israel with no options at all.
Well, I do want to say one thing, and I actually wrote about this on Substack this morning because I thought it was what we were going to talk about, and then I said, can we use this memo? And then I scrapped everything and just turned it into a Substack. But the one thing that I don't even remember what you said, because I said like I had to say that. Repeat
which
Sorry.
bit?
The last bit.
I was talking about the moral vacuum.
I know what I was going to say.
Okay.
Is that, Andrew, here's the weird thing. That Hamas has finally overplayed its hand, just like it did with the Bebas handover, because for what it's worth, Macron and Starmer did come out and say, whoa, okay, things are going to have to change. This is not okay. The hostages I'm not saying that next week they're going to feel the same way, but once again, Hamas thought, oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to show photos and videos of hostages that look like they're in the Holocaust, and the whole world is going to cheer. Again, as I said in the beginning, for the first time, the Red Cross and the WHO are actually calling for the unequivocal release of the hostages. So let's say, like, I hate to say it, everybody knows it. Hamas has been so smart in the way that they've executed their propaganda this war, but I think they're pushing past their edge. And if they continue to push, and this ridiculous set of demands that they know is a complete non-starter, Andrew, all they're saying is the hostages are all going to be killed and the blood is going to be on Netanyahu's hand. And I know you and I disagree about Netanyahu. This is not on his hands.
No, it's on Macron. It's on Macron's hands. It's on Starmer's hands. It's on Carney's hands. Like, Hamas were about to make a deal until they started up with this bullshit, and then Hamas hardened their negotiating position when they thought they had Western support, and they do. You know, look at that document we've just read out. This is the fantasy la la land that these morons are living in, where they think that there is two sides here that you can just talk to and then it'll all be fine. you know, on one hand, you have the Jew-hating psychopaths who just want to wipe the state of Israel off the map. And on the other hand, you have the sovereign state of Israel, the democratic state of Israel, who just want to live in peace and get on with their lives. And the fact that we are continually backing the Palestinian side, who are responsible for so much bloodshed, it just blows my mind. Like, there's, 60,000 deaths in Gaza. Someone will come back at me with that. No, those 60,000 are all because of Hamas. If they hadn't gone into gone into Israel on 7th of October, every single one of those 60,000 people would be alive. Like the moral compass of the West is broken, and I genuinely don't know how we start fixing this. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. Cool.
Okay. I do have to say one more thing. We just passed 613. In Judaism, 613 is a really important number. It's the number of mitzvot, good deeds that there are they're really commandments, but people call them good deeds that there are in the Torah. For anybody who doesn't know, today is Ariel Bibas's 6th birthday. So my personal prayer is that everybody does 6 mitzvot, maybe one mitzvah, one good deed today to remember Ariel Bibas, one of the most tragic losses of this entire war.
No, that's a noble way to end. Thank you, Shana. Yeah, I just got angry. I started off laughing at this and then just got angry because, yeah, I can't believe these are the buffoons that run my country. But here we are. Thank you for listening in as ever. We really appreciate it. 173 online today, which I think is our personal best. So we really appreciate that. You can follow us on YouTube, or you can follow us wherever you watch your podcasts or listen to your podcasts. And we're here every week. We try and do it on a Monday. We had to delay yesterday because I was getting a tooth filled in and my face looked like I'd had a stroke from the anesthetic. So it wasn't really the look I was going for a live broadcast. But I'm back in the game today, as you can tell.
Thank God. Yes. And if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to hit the bell so you get notifications every time we have a new episode. And feel free to write some nice comments, because we get tired of blocking and deleting the people telling us to go die, Zionist, effers, baby.
We should sign a memorandum of understanding with them, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah. But guys, please do take a moment, click like, write a nice comment, make us smile, warm our hearts, do a mitzvah, do all the things. And l'chaim.
Cheers, everyone. Take care.
See you next week.